Welcome to my first settings video for PUBG Mobile global version. I will be posting up a couple of videos over the next few days on how to optimize your settings, how to change your sensitivity, and possibly what attachments are best and what I feel are best for each of the guns that are in PUBG Mobile. For the purpose of this video, I will be just posting up just the general settings as to what each of them mean and probably what I feel are best for each individual player. And yeah, let's kick off the game. So we're going to go and head off into the basic settings of PUBG Mobile. So this is the basic settings here. You've got your crosshair color, which is essentially different types of colors based on preference. And you've got your aim assist here, right? So as you can see here, if you were to enable aim assist, it would assist you with aiming. So if you were to shoot at a target that's you're not aiming directly at him, it will kind of just like click onto that target and it will just assist with that aiming. However, if you do have that turned on, do bear in mind that if you had someone who was down, meaning to say that you've knocked him out, and you had another person who was rezzing him, your aim assist would actually lock onto that target where he's down first, because that's the aim assist priority to kill him, and then you'll kill the guy or aim at the guy who's rezzing. So I feel that I don't have aim assist on because those type of little things do make it a little bit more or gives you a higher chance of actually dying than if you were to have it disabled. So the next one is blocked by wall. So blocked by wall is I generally have it on as disabled, and the reason for that is that even though I am blocked by wall, I do prefer to have my cursor still there so I can kind of preempt. If I know that there's an enemy at this wall, for example, even though I'm blocked by the wall, I have my crosshair aimed at that wall. So as soon as I kind of peek, I would generally have my crosshair just ready there to shoot the enemy. So if you would, and you can see that you have a little red dot or red circle, that does mean, or that just let you know that you are being blocked by wall. So see, if I'm shooting, even if my crosshair is outside the wall and I'm not pointing at the wall, I do have that red circle, so it just means that I can't actually shoot the enemy. If you do have it on as enabled, your crosshair just does get disabled, so you can see that it's just a big cross, and only when you're in vision that the crosshair just appear. But you can see there is a little bit of delay, so even if there is a red cross, doesn't necessarily mean that you can't actually shoot the person. It's just like probably like half a second delay, or even like 0.2 second delay. But if you were to be blocked, it's really hard to preempt where the enemy player is, and actually having that crosshair there. Next one is the bolt action rifle and firing squad. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to turn on my transparency. So turn off. Alright. That's so strange. Sorry guys, just give me a sec. I'm not too sure why. Alright, let me just do this. Yep, okay. So next one is you've got your bolt rifle action rifle. So your Kar98s, M24, ORM, and your shotgun firing mode, and your shotgun. So if you have it on release, what essentially that means is that you're holding down the firing button. You can see it stop firing, right? You're holding it down and you're only letting go of the firing button when you want to shoot. So a lot of times like you just kind of have your crosshair in front of the enemy and you just let go when you want to shoot. So that's just what tap and release is. If you were to have it on tap, that essentially just means that you're tapping on the gun as well at the same time when you're shooting. Just like how you're shooting a normal rifle, right? You're just tapping when you need to shoot, right? Yeah. So that's what tap and release are. I generally have it on tap. I will never have it on tap and release because I just feel that's really... it just doesn't feel natural. Yeah? Alright, so peek and fire. So if you have this on disabled, you can see that on the left hand side I don't have the peek and the peek to shoot buttons. If you do have it on as enabled, they actually get turned on and you can actually start peeking left and right. So I guess in my stream, this is a general question I do get asked quite a lot as to why I can't peek left and right. You got to have this enabled first, then your two other settings do come into play. So peek and open scope would actually mean that when you're peeking, it automatically scopes into the sight or scope that you're using for that gun. So you can see that as soon as I'm holding and peeking right, the scope just turn on. And likewise, if you're peeking on the other side. If you don't have that enabled, you'll actually have to peek and click that right button, the sight button on the right, to actually zoom in. But I do feel that it's better to probably have it not as lean and open scope, just because, you know, if you have it 4 times and someone is like, you know, coming around here, you can just kind of peek and use your your camera just to shoot them, right? But if you had it as a 4 times, you would actually zoom in too much and you'll probably die, right? The next one is tap to lean and hold. So tap to lean would mean that, you know, you're clicking the button once and it leans, and you tapping it again to turn it off. So you got to press it 2 times to actually tap and lean, right? But if you do have it on as hold and lean, it's just holding, leaning, and shooting all at once, right? So you're holding it to lean, and you're letting go to come back into a position. But do bear in mind that if you do hold and lean, your aiming is going to be based on your left hand. Meaning to say that the way you move your crosshair will be your left hand, and then you shoot with your right hand. Because depending on how your firing settings are, generally you would need to aim with your left, and you don't usually move the direction with your right. Well, I don't anyways, especially when I'm doing a tap and lean. So on your left hand you will be moving, and then you'll be shooting and tapping the bullet on your right hand. However, if you were to have it as tap and lean, you would just tap it, and then you would use your firing to move. I mean, test it out, find a setting that you're comfortable with, and then go with that. So I generally have it as disabled and hold to lean, just like, you know, your normal PUBG PC settings, just because I am used to that as well. Display left side fire button, of course, it's just display if you want to display this left side fire button here. And most times I just have it on as enabled if I was to play on my mobile device, just because, you know, at times when I'm moving with my right hand, I may just need to quickly shoot with my left hand instead of actually moving and shooting at the same time with my right. Gyroscope, don't use it. I have enabled it before, and it pretty just means that if you're to lean your phone left or right, your crosshair would move along with how you move your phone. Generally, you probably have it maybe when you're playing racing games. But in PUBG Mobile, no, I don't have that on. It's enabled. Auto open doors, pretty self-explanatory. When you walk into a door, it will just automatically open. And healing prompt is something that I have as enabled. So healing prompt pretty much gives you the best recommended med based on the HP that you have. So if you're above 75%, it will generally just prompt with an energy drink or a painkiller or adrenaline syringe. Anything that, you know, as you guys know, if you're below 75% HP, you can't actually first aid to 100%. You need to actually recover that HP over a period of time using your boosters, so energy drinks, painkillers, and so on. If you're between 50 to 75%, I think it's 50 to 75, you would actually just be automatically prompted to use bandages. It would automatically select bandages as well, and you can just click that automatically. Anything below 50%, your medkit will be priority over first aid. So if you have medkits, you will be prompted to use medkit first, and then you'll be using a first aid. I just have that on as healing prompts that's there, just because, you know, that kind of extra second, or, you know, everything about this game is about efficiency and doing things quickly. So anything that boosts that kind of efficiency just gives you the little bit of an edge in the game. And if you have it on disabled, you would just actually have to preset what med you want, and then according to the situation, you would actually have to select your med kit. The next thing is graphics. So I do play on max graphics because I am playing on the official emulator, this Tencent Gaming Buddy emulator. I will keep a link on the bottom as to what, so you guys can check it out if you're interested. But based on your device, you'll probably have to tweak these settings to actually something that your device is very smooth and comfortable with. So I think just pop into the training ground. You have a couple of people here. You've got little targets. You got a car. drive everything, try everything out, and just find something where it's smooth. You don't want to have max settings where your frame rate is really low or things become really laggy and you can't move. It's not worth it. I mean, visually the game may be looking nicer if you were to turn the graphics into high, but it does not enhance a person's skill in any way. End of the day, it's all about your aim, your game sense, and all that. So don't worry if you can't play a max setting. Does not mean that you're going to be disadvantaged. And mostly, in most games that I play, I don't have my games on max setting just because I rather have performance and over graphics. That's just me anyways. Yeah, so I'm going to quickly hop on to the next one. So controls. So pretty self-explanatory here. Left movement, right fire would just mean, as you can see, you've got your split screen. So you've got one to move, one to aim. Your open. So aim would be your open area would be to aim, and then you would tap to fire. I generally have this on my iPad. I have seen some players where they have aim and fire in the one. So meaning to say that if you were to have aim and fire in the one, you would be moving at the same time and aiming and tapping on that button to shoot as well. I just find that really uncomfortable and strange. Last but not least, you just got everything on the one screen. Oh crap, sorry. You just got everything on the one screen. So your moving, shooting, everything can be done throughout the whole screen. Next thing is vehicles. So I'm just gonna cover vehicles quickly. Alright, so I'm just gonna keep changing this control. It's really annoying. Just so that you guys can see the buttons, because I have made them transparent. Okay, so I have my driving bit just pretty much how you'd move your character, moving it left and right. I mean, you can change it to having it in all directions, where you do use your left hand to move up and down, and you use your right hand to move left and right. This all just does come down to preference as well. If you were to use this, you can see the speed boost is on the left, meaning to say that you don't actually have to press up to move. You can hold the speed boost and move with your left and right, and you would just change accordingly when needed. Last but not least, you've got the split joystick, which I find it's a little bit more difficult to use, especially on a handheld device. You've got a lot of buttons on the right, and you would actually have to twist your thumb anti-clockwise or anti-clockwise to be turning left or right. So I generally just have it on all directions. Sensitivity. So this is probably something that is going to be very important, and I will make another video to kind of go through sensitivity a little bit more. As to how to optimize the sensitivity, but I will go through kind of the rough settings as to what each of the settings mean, and then I'll host another video as to how to optimize the sensitivity for the game to have that optimal recoil control or aiming in the game. Alright, so the first one is camera sensitivity. So camera sensitivity is your little eye here, how sensitive it is when you're moving left and right. Generally, you just want to have it so that when you want to look left or right, it only goes pretty much 180 degrees to the left or right. If you were to have it any higher, so I'm just going to show it at 200% just because you can just kind of see that visual contrast. You can see that it is really sensitive, right? So I'm just moving a little bit, and you can see that it's just swinging over and over again. So what I do is just hop into a game, find something that's natural, when you're running, and you want to look right, you can look right, and when you're running, you want to look left, you can look left as well. Something that feels comfortable and is quick. Something too quick, everything becomes a blur, and you may miss enemies. So I just have mine generally so that I can see everything, and it's not that quick. Next one is camera and ADS sensitivity. So we'll run through camera. So camera essentially means how sensitive it is when you are either scoping in or when you're looking at a free look, kind of like this. So if you were to have your camera as a no scope sensitivity, if at really high, it just means that your camera sensitivity when you're moving naturally becomes very high as well. So I generally have this something at a comfortable range where when I'm running and I want to look around, it does feel comfortable. So generally, it's just looking left and right. You don't need to have it so sensitive that you would need to look 360 behind you. Just your left and right, and like when you're aiming. If you're having it And your red dot, of course, is, you know, when you're scoping in, how sensitive it is when you're moving to a specific target or an area. So if you had your red dot at a really high, you can see that you start to move your thing at a really high pace. So pretty much that's what camera sensitivity is for your scopes and no scope. So just remember that red dot holographic aim assist is your red dot sight, holographic sight, and your iron sight. Iron sight meaning when you don't have a scope, right? And this no scope would just actually mean when you're looking without actually scoping in. That's how sensitive it is. Next one is the ADS sensitivity, and this is just how recoil control is really heavily based on ADS sensitivity. No scope would just actually mean how sensitive it is when you're shooting. So you can see here that when I'm moving left and right, it's really sensitive while I'm shooting, right? But if you had this at a lower sensitivity, something like, I think I was at 10%, you can see here that I can aim and move at the same time, and it's not actually that sensitive, right? So before I was flying around while I was shooting, but now you can see that I can move and have some sort of control. So ADS sensitivity is while you are shooting, how sensitive it is, right? So if you were to move from here to here, how fast does it move from 45 to 50 with the minimal movement? So you can see if I was to bump it up to something like 104% and I shoot, you can see that I'm trying to move to 70, but it's just not letting me because it's just too sensitive. So hop into the training ground, and I think just find something that I keep forgetting what my things are. Yep. So hop into training grounds, find something that you're comfortable with, where you know you may want to do some spray control. So while you're spraying and you're moving to another target, what feels comfortable for you to shoot and move to another target at the same time. I will have another video on how to actually optimize your recoil control and kind of have a general rundown as to why it is that important. I will show you maybe just a quick peek so that when you guys do see my next video, you kind of know what I'm talking about. So you can see if I'm shooting without any recoil control, bullets go up vertically. Right. So what you generally have to do is counteract that recoil. So you got to kind of drag down. And you can see all my bullets kind of go into one area. I will cover that in another video because this is just going to be a quick video on the settings. So I'm going to hop into the next sensitivity setting, which is gyroscope. And I have never messed around with this, to be very honest. And I'm guessing it's just the sensitivity of you when you're moving your phone left or right. How sensitive it is when you're scoping in or cameraing in. All right, next one is auto pickup. So if you have auto pickup as disabled, you actually will not auto pick up any items as you walk to an item. If you have it on as enabled, as you can see here, it has a general rundown. So if you were to pick up a backpack, if you had a level 1 backpack, a level 1 helmet, and a level 1 vest, if it does detect that there is a high level item on the ground, it would automatically pick up and replace that item. Likewise for firearms, so your guns or weapons, it will auto pick up any gun if you have any empty slots, and it will auto pick up any gun if you have a pistol. So if you have something that's better than a pistol on the floor, it will auto pick that up, and it would actually auto pick up any attachments for that gun as well, regardless if it's just any attachment. It doesn't have anything else as a priority. If you had extended mag and extended quick draw mag on the floor, it would pick up whatever is first that is in the list. So I generally have that as disabled because you find that a lot of the time it picks up a lot of things that you don't need, and then you'll have to actually remove those items. And last one here is the collapse pickup and disable auto pickup. So if you have collapse pickup as disabled, when you're walking to a dead body or walking to an item, it will generally be looking something like this, where you have a little hand icon and you have to expand it to actually pick up those items. So I generally have them as just open, so I can quickly pick up the items that I need. Last but not least is audio. So I'm just going to quickly touch through audio. So audio here, master of course is your general master sound for all the settings here. SFX is actually how loud footsteps are, how loud gunshots are in the game. So you can see that it's really loud when I have it up. How loud your footsteps are. If you generally have this at a lower setting, let's just say something like half, you can see here that you can hardly hear the footsteps. My gunshots are really soft. So in a game, I generally have them on max settings. When I'm streaming, maybe not so loud, because a lot of my viewers do say that my gunshots are a little bit too loud, so I try to pump that down as well. Music would just be, of course, your in-game music in the lobby, and your UI would be how loud your buttons are. So you can hear when I'm clicking on the settings, it's really loud. If I was to bump that to about half, you can actually hear that it's not that loud anymore. So I don't generally have this very loud because it's not needed. It doesn't affect gameplay or anything. Voice would just be, your microphone would be how loud your input is. So pretty much when your teammates hear that sound, it's not going to be that loud if you put it to low, and high would just be your maximum input of that sound through the mic. Speaker would just be vice versa, the other way around. So when your teammates are talking to you, just how loud, how high you want that sound to be. So generally I don't have it very high because I feel that everyone is speaking very loud, so I have that relatively low. But maybe I do bump it up a bit high because I do stream, and most of the time my viewers do like to hear what my teammates are saying and the communication and whatnot. So yeah guys, I think that's generally the general rundown of the settings. I think I've covered everything. If you have anything else that you need me to cover, please feel free to message me below in the comments. I will address them, and if I need to make a video, I will make a video for you as well. As I said, I will be making other additional videos. Maybe it's kind of like settings for emulators. Kind of like, I am using the official Tencent Buddy Gaming emulator app. But there are other emulators out there like Nox and BlueStacks that I know of. But this one is the official one, and they have tried to replicate as much of the controls to PC PUBG as they could. I will do one on how to maximize your sensitivity so that you have that kind of recoil control. So when you're shooting, you kind of have that better aim. You can see all my bullets are concentrated at the one area. And I will cover any other setting videos that I feel is very important to improve each other's gameplay. I may go through guns and attachments and what I feel is optimal for each gun, what guns have the better edge over others, and yeah, stay tuned guys. Anyways, thanks for watching the video. I hope this was helped everyone out, and I'll catch you guys another time. Catch me on Twitch. I will put the link on the bottom, and I do stream on a daily basis. Anyways, peace everyone. Catch you all soon.